associated with the course aspect. I was just trying to check whether you are sincere enough to do all the assignments in the first semester, which unfortunately I cannot say so. Okay, you haven't done all the assignments on your own, but quite a few of you have done almost 50% assignments, near about. Few of you have done up to 70-80%, but probably it will be as per the algorithm which is given by the concerned teacher or the program which is directly given in the class. The understanding behind the C programming, the coding, power of C language, etc. is probably not considered in the first semesters, and of course it is quite difficult that one has to, and of course in the first semester it is not possible to cover all the aspects, because you might be having only 1 or 2 lectures of C programming, in which you are required to learn the entire syntax of C language along with numerical methods, concepts, etc. And during the practicals also you might have seen that probably some ready-made code or the teachers are coming to you and without explaining the things they are making the corrections on their own, and then you are required to complete that assignment. Whereas I will treat that course to be quite a preliminary one, that you have at least understood the syntax of C. If not understood, it's like a language. One has to probably accept all the rules which are provided by the language, nothing more than that. If you have accepted by this time that every statement must end with semicolon, if will always use round brackets rather than square brackets, whereas array cannot use round brackets, function, the parameters should be enclosed in round brackets. These are all the rules which are prescribed by a particular language. Even if you have understood those rules, that should be more than sufficient. Okay. Then you might have seen the use of control structures like if, while, do while, for, etc. And then all those rules, when we talk of, or the manner in which these loops are executed, their use should be studied thoroughly, because normally I have seen that the students, whenever they are asked to write a particular program or develop the particular algorithm, you keep on talking in terms of the for loop, while loop, etc. Whereas the algorithm or the procedure should be described in plain English. It should not be dependent on a particular programming language. Okay, our thinking, the procedure, etc. should be independent of the programming language. So we will have to treat algorithm in quite a different manner than the program. Okay. So today we will start with some basic concepts, and if you have understood them, fine. If not, we'll try to cover all those concepts once again, which we might have missed in the first semester. Starting with something called as a function. Have you written functions in the first semester? Can you give me one example? A user defined function. Suppose I have two values, A and B, and I want to write a function to find out the maximum among these two. Okay. How do we write the function? A function to find maximum of two integer values. Now see the difference. I am not saying a function to find maximum of A and B. I am saying a function to find out maximum of two integer values. What is the difference? One way I can write it like this: int max, if A greater than B, return A, else return B. And the second way is int max, int A comma int B. Rest of the body is same. Now what is the difference between these two functions which I have written? What is the difference between the first function and the second function? Of course, I will even show you, as these are the function definitions, these will be called as something like C equal to max, whereas this will be called as C equal to max A comma B. So far as the value of C is concerned, will it be different in each case? Yes? I am starting with the same values of A and B. Once I am writing a function like this, I am calling it like this. Next time I am writing a function like this and calling it like this. So the call matches with the definition. Will C take different value in each case? No. Fine. Then what is the difference? You can clearly see that there is a structural difference, that this particular function does not have any parameters or arguments, whereas this has. Which will be more effective? Why? But even in this case they are accepted in main. They are accepted in main, no?
So but then it will show error like A and B.
No. It could be a global also. If A and B are global and they are accepted in main, and then the function is called, so the program that I am talking of is error free, so there is no error. Now which one will be more effective?
So this one, because here int A and B are already integers, here it will convert to integer and
Why?
return.
Why?
Because max has declared as int max.
So you even here int.
So but here A can take any value because it is not declared already int.
But
So
it
will
is.
return only integer value.
From where will it consider type of A and B? As they are not declared inside the function, it will consider the global declaration, which is already int. It is already int. Now,
So the second one, because it can be added to the library and can be further used.
what makes it portable?
So it doesn't depend on the global declaration or any other thing, only the parameters and its execution. Whether over here it has to depend on the global declaration, whether A and B are declared or not.
But then there should be, no, if it is error free, then it has to be. I want the correct, precise answer. Now what happens is, in the first case, this particular function max will always find maximum of A and B only. If I am to find maximum of P and Q, I just cannot use this function. This is always finding maximum of A and B. Whereas if in this case, if I call it as max P comma Q, it will still give me the maximum of P and Q. Otherwise their execution, as long as you are finding maximum of A and B, both will work properly. Only thing is, this will require the global declaration. By accepting the fact that it is global, they will behave in the same manner. But this has got more flexibility Because using this function you can find out maximum of any two integer values irrespective of the name of the variable. Okay. Now we are talking about this a and b which is declared outside. Okay. Now when it is global, here whenever I am talking about a and b, which memory location will be considered? You know that every variable will be associated with a memory location of what will be the size? Int means 2 bytes. You can say no. 2 bytes. And then internally it will be allocated the memory, that address will be stored, that will be used by the compiler and whatnot, of course. But whenever I talk about the variable or identifier a, I am talking about some memory location and of course value in it. Correct? So here whenever I am talking about a, it is the same memory location. B, it will be the same one which is declared outside. What will happen in this case? It becomes a local declaration. So if A and B, they have some memory locations through the global or main, the declaration in main, here A and B, they will have, here A and B will have different memory location. Two different memory locations than the one which are outside. So if you are to compare these two functions memory wise, then this is going to consume 4 bytes extra. Correct? Now whenever you call the function, this value of a will be transferred to this and this value of b will be transferred to this memory location. Getting it? Then these two values will be compared, which are actually the values from the main or global, and then the corresponding maximum value will be returned. That will be accepted by C. Are you getting this? Okay. This is how it will work. So from the call, the control will be transferred to the function. The values of the parameters will be transferred to the respective memory locations. The function will execute. Whenever it reaches return, the control will be transferred back. If it is not a void type function, then the value also will be transferred and will be assigned to the corresponding variable. If it is to be assigned or if it is to be compared, that value will be used outside. So whenever there is a function call, control will be transferred, parameter values will be transferred, function will be executed. On return or on completion of the function execution, control will be taken back with the result value and the work is complete. Here I can say something like R equal to max of P comma Q, possible. But here such a call is not possible. Even if I want to find maximum of P and Q, can I do that? You can. How? Even in this case, if I want to find maximum of P and Q, yeah, you will have to assign A as value of P, B equal to Q, and again call max. You can use it, I am not saying no. But then again condition will be only A and B will be global. PQ need not be global. Are you getting the concept? Any doubt? Now I have said that whenever the return is executed, the control will be transferred back to the position from where the function is called. Of course, the rest of the function, it will not be executed. It will be suspended forever. In that case, I don't require this else. Is it acceptable? Because if the condition is true, it will return, so control will be returned, value will be returned. So even if there is one more return below it, it is never going to reach it if it comes through the path of true. And if it comes through false, then this return is obviously skipped, you will return B. So this else is not required. When we as an examiner evaluate your functions, this matters. Because if you are using else, which simply indicates that you don't know exactly how the function behaves, how the return statement is executed. This else is indicating that you are not aware that after return the rest of the part will be skipped. Okay? And as I always give the example, instead of all this, I could have written return A greater than B question mark A colon B. That is one more statement in C which we might have missed in the first semester, which is a conditional statement. If the condition is true, it will return the value, it will execute the part which is written before colon, and if the condition is false, it will execute the second. Correct? Make a note of. Any questions? Anything that you have not understood? Preferably we will avoid the global declaration and any functions which are written in this form. Throughout the course we will never use the global variables, though sometimes we will see that the global declaration might simplify our task to quite a lot of extent as such, but we will not be going for the global declaration at all throughout the course, and we will have to learn parameter passing in the best possible manner. Now assuming that you have this particular function max with you, can you write a function which is int max3, which is int A, int B, int C? I repeat, I said that assuming that you have this function max, can you write the function int max3 to find maximum of 3 numbers? And let us see if you can give me the best possible code. I can give you so many codes over here, like if A is greater than B and A greater than C, return A. If B greater than C and B greater than A, return B. If C greater than A and C greater than B, return C. 1. The second one, you can write it like if A greater than B, if A greater than C, return A, else return C, else if B greater than C, return B, else return C. Same function to find maximum of 3 numbers. Any difficulty in understanding the first one? I believe that you already know the logical operators and or not. When both the conditions are true, it will execute the true part of it. And if for the first time, if both of them are true, return will be executed, rest of the part will be skipped. So I don't require else. But in this case, if you skip the else part, will it work? That is one more question. Whether this else is essential. No. Third if is not essential. Right. Because if A is not greater, B is not greater, then obviously C is greater. Without condition you can do that. This else, is it essential? No. Is it essential? What? See, if this is true, then it will come over here. Then one of the returns is bound to get executed. So by any means you are not going to reach this part. So why this else will be required? If this is false, then this entire block will be skipped and you will be here, and as it is you want to check that. Are you getting it? If not, ask me. See, if this condition is true, you will come over here. With this, one of the two returns has to be executed. That means by any means you will never reach this if statement. But if this first condition itself is false, then this entire thing will be skipped and you will be here. Fine, that's what we want to do. Why do we have else over? Of course, the question remains as there is one more way in which the same thing can be written, like if A greater than B, if A greater than C, return A, else if B greater than C, return B. But then these curly brackets are essential, because if we don't put them, then this else will be associated with this if, which I don't want. Here I have eliminated only one else. Here I have eliminated two else statements, resulting in the blocks. But I won't again treat this. These are all equivalent. See, I am showing you in how many ways you can write the same function. You can go ahead and write it like Because my question was, assuming that you have function max, can you write it? Because we have already written a function to find out maximum of 2. Any better version of this? It will be return maximum of A comma B with C. 1, 2, 3. It will first find out maximum of A and B. That value it will pass as first parameter again to function max along with C, and then that maximum will be returned. You have noted it. Of course, different functions for each one of them. Whether the given character is uppercase, lowercase, digit, alphabet, alphanumeric. Uppercase characters you can directly compare. For example, C greater than or equal to capital A and C less than or equal to capital Z. So you need not know the ASCII values. The character can be directly compared. Okay. These functions are going to return the answer as true or false. Now, yesterday we were talking about the data types which are available in C, and we have discussed something like short int, float, int, character and whatnot. But we have missed one type which is called as the logical or Boolean type. Because we have logical operators, then the logical variable should be there or the logical constant should be there, which you call it as true or false, 0 or 1, yes, no type. So whether C has got this particular logical type or Boolean type, data type? No, C doesn't have such a type. Then how will it identify something to be true and something to be false? Huh? Anyone? Last 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh? How will C check whether it is true or false? We say that condition is true, means what? But the data type or variable true is not there. Logical constant true itself is not there in a way. Or false is not there. Huh? Null is used as, and then what is true? Anything other than null. That means remember that in C only false is defined as 0. Everything else will be treated as true. Normally in this case you will say that if this condition is true, return 1, and you will be writing it every time, and then it might, afterwards you might think that 1 means true. It's not the case. 0 is false. Anything that is not 0, even if you return -1, it will be still true. Okay? Whatever value that you return which is non-zero will be treated as true. Whatever condition that you write, A greater than B, it will result in a value as, it will result in a value as 0 or non-zero. Non-zero or 0, true or false. Okay? Remember this. So accordingly you will have to write these 4 or 5 functions. Of course, using lowercase, uppercase, I want you to write alphabet, because any alphabet will be either a lowercase or uppercase. Using alphabet and digit, I want you to write alphanumeric. So they are all dependent on each other. There are only 3 basic functions in a way. Okay? Then to find number of digits in given integer value. Third one is to find n factorial. Fourth one, to print 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, etc. n lines. Okay? Try them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First function, so most of the part I have already given you. It should be written as int type. Name of the function, say, is upper. You are going to pass character C. Return 1, return 0. Okay, but I don't mind even if you directly say return, but in this case you are not aware as whether it will return 1 as true. It might return any non-zero value. Okay, but still it will be true. While checking, you will say if is upper. Whether you write it as return 1, return 0, or you write it like this, it will still work in the same manner. But in the previous case, you could have said that this to be equal to 1. But it is of no use. True to be compared with non-zero value means true. Such a condition is of no use. So whenever the function returns true or false, it should be directly checked as a condition, and not as equal to 0 or not equal to 0. Not equal to 0 will work in either case. Whether you write it in this manner or return 1, return 0. Still it will be the same execution. But equal to 1 will be strictly valid when you say return 1, return 0. So leave that habit. Whenever you want to check something to be true, have the habit of comparing it with not equal to 0 rather than equal to 1. Okay? Because you may not be every time aware as how the function is written. Of course, for lower case, it will be small a and small z. That will be the only change. For a digit, it will be single quote 0 and single quote 9. If you have compared with 0 and 9, that will be wrong, because it is still a character. It's not integer value. I am going to pass a character. Character 0 is quite different from value 0. Character 9 is different from value 9. 0 doesn't have ASCII value as 0. We want to compare the characters. In alphabet, you will have to write the function as it is int alphabet or is alpha. That will be more appropriate. Is alpha character C. A single return, what it will be? What it will be? A single return statement. Return is upper C or is lower C. That will make it more effective. Is alphanumeric, you will say return is alpha or is digit. So that will complete our first task. Whether you take this down or not, but you will have to always remember this. To find number of digits of given integer, yeah, how to write it? How many digits the given integer number has? Number like 4739 is a 4-digit number. Divided by 10. You require a counter initialized to 0. While which part you have not understood? See, initially this is value of n and count is 0. When you divide it by 10, it will be integer division, so it will be 473, not 0.9, and counter will be incremented. Then it becomes 47, then it becomes 4, then it becomes 0, counter becomes 4, and n being 0, condition is false. The other option, you will say while n is not equal to 0. Right? Question is, can you replace this while loop by do while? Question is, can you replace this while loop by do while loop? No? Why? If the number is 0, then it will execute. Yeah. So Q. If it is 0, how many digits does it have? if it is 0, how many digits it has? 1. So it will return 1. If it is 0, it will return 1. क्या problem है फिर? If it is 4, still it will return 1. ठीक है ना? I was knowing that if it is 0, in that case while won't work actually, because if the digit is 0, then it will return number of digits as 0, whereas number of digits is actually 1. Okay, so if you have written it with while, change it to do while. That will be the most appropriate answer. Will work in all cases. Otherwise this while will work only in case when the given number is not 0. काय झालं? काय while 1? जोपर्यंत तो एक्झिक्यूट होत राहील हे मान्य आहे मला, पण जोपर्यंत तोपर्यंत असं काही नाहीच ना. To come out you will have to have some condition, right? Condition has to be there. This is not a case of infinite loop. Then comes factorial. It is int facto int n, int p equal to 1. You want any other variable? You want any other counter? I equal to 1. And you can say while I is less than or equal to n, p equal to p into I plus return p. Will this work in all cases? For 0, 0 factorial is 1. Will it return 1? It won't enter the loop because 1 less than 0 will be false. It will return p. P is initialized to 1. P. For 1 it will enter once, 1 into 1, 1. It will become 2, it will terminate. Fine. And for remaining it will work. So, what will be the answer that we will be getting? For 1 it is 1, for 2, 2, for 3, 6, for 4, 24, for 5, 6, 7, 20, 7, 5040, 8, 8, 40, 320, 9, 9 दुणे 18, 9 9 27 आणि 28, 2. ये गलत था, दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज रॉन्ग. मैंने तो इसे मल्टीप्लाई किया ना. काय बरोबर आहे? 403 हा चुकलाय असं म्हणतोय मी. That is beyond the range. You cannot reach this value. Yesterday only we have seen that the limit is 32767. Now you tell me as what value will be printed for 8 factorial? What value? Negative मुझे भी पता है. Now you tell me the exact value to be printed. Are you getting this? In integer you cannot reach this value 40320. But then this representation in binary will correspond to some negative number. Minus 7553. Kasal re? Subtracting from? Okay, we'll write one simple program. I have this. I equal to 32767. I say I plus plus and I print I. What will it print? What will it print? This is of course the limit. I am adding 1 to it and I am printing it. It will be print minus 3 to 8. I am adding 1, but still it will print minus 32768. माझ्यावर विश्वास नसेल तर घरी जाऊन 3 ओळीचा प्रोग्राम लिहायचा, काय येतं उत्तर बघायचं. And that's why this answer is wrong.
2.215 minus 2.215.
Something similar to that. Because then plus 2 plus 3 karte hue you will have to say plus 7553 if his subtraction is right, of course. So from this इसमें आपको ये वैल्यू ऐड करनी होगी एक्चुअली. Then whatever value you get, that will be the output. Of course, you can always write that function, call it and print the value. You will come to know what value is getting printed. Then check whether you can have justification for that. काय झालं? बरं तू एवढा विश्वास ठेवू शकशील का? जर का +1 नी if you are reaching minus 32768, so plus 2 will lead to minus 32767. Plus 3 will lead to minus 32766. What is the difference between 40320 and the limiting value? 7553. So you will have to add 7553. Now keep on adding. So in short, it will be minus 32768 plus actually 7552. And plus 1 to me already kela. So it gives me 612. So your value should be somewhere around this. Plus 1 minus 1, check it. Dependent on his answer. हेच चुकलं असेल तर सगळं चुकेल. That is factorial. Afterwards we will come across the case when we are required to find factorial of a number which is even beyond the capacity of long also. But we still want the accurate answer. That's where actually data structures will come into picture. Some 40-digit number and you are required to find its factorial. 40 digits. 50 digits, क्या फर्क पड़ता? As it is going to be some n-digit number. And the last one, that was 1, 1, 2, or rather 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, like that. So actually, It's a case of generalization. How many lines to be printed? N lines. So you can say that for I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, कुछ तो print करना है, but definitely next line पे तो जाना ही है. This will print n blank lines. Now on every line you are required to print certain numbers. If you are not comfortable with 0 to n, that is n minus 1 actually, this is what we will be using for arrays normally. So you can go for 1 to n. So in first line 1, in second line 2 2, in third line 3 3 times, in zth line z times. So for j equal to 1 etc etc, ये लूप कितनी बार चलना चाहिए? I times. In ith line I to be printed I times. Okay, so I just require a counter j which will go I times, and what I am going to print, I to be printed I times such n lines. Question normally that I ask after this is, if I replace this I by j, what will be the output? 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. Good. And then how will you get this output? 1 2 1 3 2 1.
I'll start from n and I'll increment I. This is 0 till 1.
This you are changing?
Yes, sir. J equal to 5. J greater than equal to 1. J minus 1.
Why you are diverting from basic thing? Oh, you are still required to print n lines. So why you are changing outer loop? Only inner loop. J equal to I. Okay. What if I change the outer loop? Suppose I keep it as it is and I say that from I equal to n, I greater than or equal to 1, I minus minus. What output will get? It will be n times, then n minus 1 times. And then if I want it as 1 2 3 4 up to n, then up to n minus 1, you can do that. Then if I want this to be interchanged as n minus 1 etc., inner one. Good. ठीक है. Next. The declaration that I have is char p square bracket 100 scanf %sp get sp, two options, and then two ways of printing, either printf or put sp. Okay, input is So there are 4 paths: scanf printf, scanf putS, getS printf, getS putS. What are the outputs?
So if we are using scanf, then output will be silent.
If we are using scanf, then output by printf will be silent, by putS silent. If we are using getS, then output by printf pura, and by putS full. Remember that scanf terminates on space. So far as printf and putS are concerned, it will be the same input that will be printed. Okay. Now up till now we have been, slight diversion from strings, up till now we have been inputting the values like 30 space 40 space 10. 3 values integers agar lene hai, so you used to input it as separated by space. What if you want to input the values separated by comma? Is it possible? Is it possible to give the input separated by comma? Then when I want to take the input as date, then I will take it as 7/1/2004. So I will use slash in that case. Is this possible? You are forcing the user to give the input separated by something which is very special here. Yes? Is it possible? Yes. And it is possible, is for the first time in scanf you will be using that. Otherwise in scanf we say that don't use anything, just put them one after the other, don't even use space also, because that might create problem. If you use comma here, then the input must be separated by comma. If you use slash, it has to be separated by slash, otherwise it will be the termination of the program, because we are yet to learn data validation. Okay? That will even make it more useful, saying that please accept %d %i used with scanf. Will it give any error? Will it give any error when I say scanf, double quotes, please accept %d, double quotes complete, comma, and %i? Will it give any error? It won't. There will be no error. Then if you try to give the value, then how will you input it? Yeah, you will have to type it like that. Please space accept. If there is a space, then the value and then enter. You input anything else, it will give you error. If it is capital P, it has to be capital P in the input. Any spelling mistake, any extra space will not work. Got it? If you are to irritate the examiner, this is the best way. You will always say that, nahi sir, directly value nahi, please accept. So he won't come to your program anytime, because it will be most irritating. Because at the end also we will say, ask him to please say thank you to terminate. So he has to type thank you, like that. Because otherwise it won't terminate. You make your input cryptic and it will be very difficult for the examiner to execute that. Because input phase से ही बाहर निकलने में बहुत time जाता है. Okay. Normally we use it for date, etc. That would be most useful. Coming back to strings. If you are to give your programs to your friends, make these changes and give it to them. So they might have the source code, but they can't take the printout of the output. क्योंकि वो रन करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. And then that student will have to understand what you have written. And if he can understand, then he could have very well written the program. So जो copy करते हैं वो तो ये समझ नहीं पाएंगे. So they will have the source code, they can't run. Okay. So string, what will be the length of the string? You must be knowing that there is some special character \0. Is it one character or two characters? One character. This backslash actually indicates that the actual character which we are writing after it should be treated in a special manner. So \0. You also have \n. You also have \t. Barabar? How will you print the character backslash itself? Double quote नहीं, single quote से ही print. Using single quote, how will you use character backslash itself? See, whenever you put backslash before it, before the character, it will assign a special meaning. N is a usual character. Backslash n becomes special n. Barabar hai? So similarly, backslash has got a meaning as special, and backsplash means special means actual backslash. Because its usual meaning is special, and if you want backslash itself, then you will have to use backslash. Okay? Similarly, in the message to be printed, if you want to print something like double quotes, he said, double quotes mein so and so thing. If that message is to be printed through printf, then that double quotes should be preceded by backslash. Then it will be treated as not the termination of that format, but it will be special and it will be treated as a usual character. Otherwise your printf will terminate, that particular format will terminate at that double quote. Okay? So usual meaning and a special meaning. Sometimes the character itself will have a special meaning. Putting backslash, it will come down to normal, like this one. Whereas the other characters, they have the normal meaning. Putting backslash, they will be really behaving in the special manner. Okay? Now in this case, when I declare char p square bracket 100, yesterday we have seen that it is one-dimensional array. Will have in all 100 positions for storing the characters, which are all consecutive. The starting address will be stored in the array name, that is p. The index, the position, will vary from 0 to size -1, that is 99. Okay? And if we are working with strings, can you tell me what will be the maximum length of the string that we can store in this p? Huh? 100, 99, 98, and my question is related to the length. I am not saying that which is the last position that can be occupied. Huh? Now the inputs, the string that you are going to store can have maximum 99 characters, because 1 you will have to always use for backslash 0, because that string has to be terminated. The termination character has to be there. So effectively the actual characters which you can store, because you are not going to input backslash 0, it will be put by that system. In that case backslash 0 का एक character छोड़ के remaining positions you can actually use for data. So maximum length that can be used is 99, not 100. Okay. Now what will be the length? If I am to calculate the length of the string that I have accepted either through scanf or getS, then if I write it like this, for nahi, chalo, I equal to 0, while P of I is not equal to single quote backslash 0, I plus plus, and if it is a function string length to which I am passing character array P. What should I return? I minus 1, I plus 1. Length of the string. Position of the backslash 0 character itself is the length. Okay, so it will be written I. There are 5 characters, 0 to 4 positions. Position 5 itself will contain backslash 0. Backslash 0 is not counted in the length.